Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Well, today we're going way back.
Ooh, how far back?
Back to 1911.
Wow, okay.
To explore this fascinating little book called The Value of a Praying Mother by Isabel C. Byrum.
Okay, A Praying Mother.
Yeah, by Isabel C. Byrum. Now, this book,
Of 1911.
it's packed with stories and anecdotes.
Oh, so not just like straight theology.
No, it's really interesting. She uses these stories to show how much a mother's faith can shape a kid's life.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. A more personal approach.
Yeah, and she uses all these contrasting examples of children raised in totally different environments.
So like nature versus nurture.
Exactly. Like on the one hand, you've got Samuel,
Okay.
his mother Hannah. She dedicated him to God before he was even born.
Wow, that's dedication.
It is, and created this home filled with prayer and love.
Oh, that's sweet.
And Samuel, he grows up to be this respected prophet.
Good for him.
But then she contrasts that with
Oh, here we go, the contrast.
this child born on a ship to, well, let's just say not the best parents.
Oh, no.
So this kid's surrounded by just neglect and sin from the very beginning.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, and ends up living a life of crime.
Yeah, that's rough. It really highlights how impactful those early years can be, though, doesn't it? Like, sets the stage for who you become.
Yeah.
So we've got these two extremes, right?
Right.
But where do we go from there?
That's where Bessie Worthington comes in.
Bessie. Okay, tell me about Bessie.
She's like the main character of the book.
Oh, cool.
Byrum follows her story from childhood to adulthood as she's dealing with all these challenges and learning lessons from her mother.
I like it. A good role model, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so picture this. Bessie and her sister are playing by the lake.
Okay.
They hear this terrifying growl coming from the trees.
Oh, no. What is it?
It's their dad
The dad.
pretending to be a bear
What? Why?
to teach them about obedience.
Oh, my gosh. That's a creative approach.
Right. I know it sounds a little crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, what would today's parenting experts say?
I don't know.
But hey, it probably got the point across.
Oh, it definitely did.
Okay, so we've got an unconventional teaching method there.
Yeah.
What other kinds of lessons does Bessie learn?
Well, there's this time she finds some apples on the ground
Okay, fallen apple.
after a storm.
Eh.
And she keeps them thinking, oh, they're on the ground. It's fine.
Finders keepers.
Yeah. But her mother makes her take them back and apologize to the owner.
Oh,
It's a small thing, but it becomes this big teaching moment about honesty.
I see. Yeah, it's about the principle.
Exactly. And how even those little things can snowball.
Right. Like it sets a precedent.
Yeah. And then there's the circus incident.
A circus. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Bessie really wants to go with her friends.
Of course she does. Who doesn't love a circus?
But instead of just saying yes or no, her mom tells her to pray about it
That's interesting.
and ask for a sign from God.
Oh, wow. A sign. Okay.
So Bessie prays for a sign.
What does she ask for?
She asks God to make it rain if he doesn't want her to go.
Ooh, that's a bold request.
It is, and guess what? The next morning, it's pouring.
No way. So I guess she didn't go to the circus.
She didn't.
It does make you think about how we make decisions, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much do we factor in our beliefs versus what we want?
And it's not just about avoiding temptation. It's about Bessie learning to trust her faith.
Right, to let that guide her choices.
Exactly. And this whole self-control thing,
Self-control, okay.
it comes up again when her mom makes her a dress out of shirt fabric.
Out of shirt fabric? Like, how does that even work?
I know.
But, hey, maybe it was, like, fashionable back then. We don't know.
Maybe so.
That's him.
So what happened?
The kids at school, they tease her mercilessly.
Oh, no. Kids can be so cruel.
I know, but instead of letting it get to her,
Okay.
Bessie, she focuses on her mother's good intentions.
Oh, that's mature.
It is. And she actually wills herself to like the dress.
So she's choosing to find contentment despite what others are saying.
That's a tough lesson, but a valuable one.
Yeah. And amidst all these lessons about self-control and faith,
Okay.
tragedy strikes.
Oh, no, what happens?
Bessie's younger brother, Leroy, he gets really sick.
Oh, no, poor Leroy.
He's always been frail,
Oh,
but this time it's serious.
like how serious?
The doctors have given up, and it seems like he's going to die.
Oh, gosh.
So Mrs. Worthington, she just prays desperately for a miracle.
That's all you can do in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Just hope for the best.
And you know what? Leroy recovers completely.
He does. Wow. So she gets her miracle.
Yeah, Byrum really presents it as like
a true testament to the power of prayer.
exactly. And, this book it doesn't just focus on those big miracles.
Right.
It also looks at the everyday challenges of raising a child in a world that can be really tough.
Yeah, those everyday struggles.
Yeah, and those conversations you have as a parent.
Trying to explain right from wrong.
Yeah. And as Bessie gets older, her mother starts talking to her about having a real relationship with God.
Yeah, not just going through the motions.
Right, going deeper.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Worthington, she's very open about her own faith journey.
Oh, that's great.
She shares her struggles and triumphs.
Being honest and relatable.
Yeah, she wants Bessie to see that faith is a process, not just a set of rules.
Right, it's a journey.
Yeah. And as Bessie's going through adolescence,
oh, those teenage years,
her mother's guidance becomes even more important because she's facing all these new temptations and tough choices.
I bet. So she's really putting her faith to the test now.
She is.
Okay, I'm ready to see what happens next. What are these challenges Bessie's facing? So Bessie is facing all these new temptations and tough choices.
She is. And one of them pops up around Christmas time.
Christmas, okay.
Bessie gets this unexpected gift from her cousin Lizzie.
Oh, what did she get?
A corset.
A corset, wow.
Okay.
Right?
That's a big deal back then.
It is.
Like a really big deal.
And of course, Bessie wants to try it on right away.
Oh, I bet she did.
Asks her mother for permission. Oh, but Mrs. Worthington, I'm sure, had thoughts on this.
She did. And instead of just saying yes or no,
okay,
she takes this opportunity to talk to Bessie
about, here comes the lesson,
the health risks.
Oh, the health risks of corsets.
Of wearing a corset.
Right, because they weren't exactly known for being good for you.
Not at all.
Yeah, but it's interesting that Byrum brings this up, right? It's like she's making a statement about
body image.
Yeah, the societal pressures on women.
Exactly, and it makes you think, doesn't it?
For sure. Yeah. Like, what are the corsets of today? You know what I mean?
It's a good question. Like, what are we doing now that might be harmful?
Right, exactly. Those things we think are important.
Or that we feel pressured to do.
But might actually not be good for us in the long run.
And what's interesting is Bessie actually listens to her mom.
She does.
She decides not to wear the corset.
Good for her. That's a mature decision.
It is. And this whole corset thing.
Okay.
It leads to another important conversation.
Okay, I'm listening.
About romantic relationships.
Ooh, young love.
Mrs. Worthington, she's really worried about Bessie.
That's understandable. I mean, parents worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially back then. You know, times were different.
Right. She's warning Bessie about giving her heart away too easily.
Right. Getting swept up in those emotions.
Exactly.
But it's interesting, though, because she's not just saying don't do it. She's trying to guide her right.
She is. She's teaching Bessie to be careful.
To be discerning.
Exactly. Yeah. And to look for those red flags.
So she's not just laying down the law. She's trying to equip Bessie to make good choices.
Right. And Byrum really uses these stories to show how faith can help you.
When things get tough.
Exactly. Like there's this time when Bessie and her cousin John are out on the lake.
Okay. Boating.
And they get caught in a sudden storm.
Oh, no.
The waves are crashing. The boat's starting to sink.
That's terrifying.
It is. And her cousin's trying to row back to shore.
But I bet they weren't getting very far.
Not at all. And in this moment of sheer panic.
What does Bessie do?
She remembers how Jesus calmed the sea.
Oh, wow.
And she prays.
For help.
Yeah, for God to intervene.
So she's really putting her faith into action.
She is, and what happens next?
Tell me.
It starts to rain.
Hard.
It rains.
Yeah, and within minutes,
wow,
the storm is gone, the lake is calm.
What? So they're saved?
They are. They row safely back to shore.
Wow. Pretty amazing.
It really is. I mean, whether you believe it literally or not, it shows you how powerful faith can be.
Yeah, that feeling that something's got your back.
Right, even when things seem hopeless.
And then there's this other time when Bessie's family faces a forest fire.
A forest fire? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they've moved to this new house surrounded by woods.
Okay.
And during a really dry summer, a fire breaks out.
So dangerous.
It is. And it's heading straight for their house.
Oh no.
Everyone's running.
Makes sense.
But Bessie's mother, she refuses to leave.
Why wouldn't she leave?
Her baby son, Clement.
Clement, oh no.
He's very sick.
Oh.
Like on the verge of death.
So sad.
And she thinks moving him would be even worse.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And she has this incredible faith that God will protect them.
So she's putting all her trust in a higher power.
She is. But Bessie, she's terrified.
Of course she's a teenager. I mean, that's a scary situation.
She begs her mother to come with her.
Yeah, come on, Mom, let's go.
But Mrs. Worthington, she's like, no, you go put out any sparks that reach the house.
Okay.
And pray for rain.
Pray for rain. Wow. So she's like taking action, but also relying on faith.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Bessie does what her mother says,
Putting out those sparks.
praying as hard as she can.
In.
It starts to pour.
It rains again.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fire's contained.
That's amazing.
It is. Sadly, little Clement doesn't make it.
Oh, no.
But Mrs. Worthington finds comfort in knowing he's with God.
Yeah, she's holding on to her faith.
And through all these experiences, Bessie is learning to rely on her faith, too.
Right. She's seeing it in action.
Yeah, but then there's this one challenge that really tests her.
Oh, what is it?
She gets lost in the woods.
Lost in the woods. Oh, no.
She's bringing the cows home in the evening,
Okay, I can picture it.
and she gets disoriented.
It's easy to do in the woods.
It is. And the sun's setting.
Oh, that's not good.
No. She realizes she's alone. It's getting dark. She doesn't know how to get back.
That's terrifying.
It is. But instead of panicking,
Bravo.
she starts reciting verses from the Psalms.
Wow, from the Bible.
About God's guidance and protection.
So she's finding comfort in her faith.
Yeah, those words are giving her strength.
Right, like a lifeline.
Exactly. And eventually, with the help of the moon,
Okay.
she finds her way home.
Phew. Safe and sound.
Yeah, her parents are frantic, of course.
Oh, I bet they were worried sick.
They were out searching for her.
The whole search party?
But Mrs. Worthington, she never gave up hope.
She had that faith.
And, it's interesting how Byrum portrays novel reading.
Novel reading, like just reading books.
Yeah, but back then, it was seen as kind of dangerous,
Dangerous how?
especially for young girls. Like, it could fill their heads with unrealistic expectations.
Oh, I see. Like they'd get swept away in these romantic stories.
Exactly. And Mrs. Worthington, she's worried about that.
Yeah, that Bessie will lose herself in these books.
And neglect her duties.
Right, those real life responsibilities.
Yeah, it makes you think about what we worry about today for young people.
Right, like what are the novels of our time?
Exactly, those things that might be influential.
But maybe not in a good way.
Right. And Byrum doesn't really give any easy answers.
But she's raising important questions.
She is. About how to balance freedom with guidance.
Finding that balance.
And as Bessie gets older, this idea of finding her path, her calling,
Okay.
it becomes really important.
Her calling.
Yeah, she starts reading The Gospel Trumpet.
The Gospel Trumpet, what's that?
It's this publication created by people who rely only on faith
Only on faith. Wow, that's intense.
for everything. Their needs,
It's like no safety net.
no safety net. And Bessie is so moved by it.
She's inspired.
Yeah, and she starts thinking, maybe I should work there.
At the Gospel Trumpet office, wow, that's a big decision.
It is. It would mean leaving home.
Yeah, and everything she knows.
Exactly. And it's this pull between her desire to serve God
Right.
and her family.
That's a tough one. Family versus calling. Family versus calling, that's a tough one.
Yeah, and for Bessie, it's not an easy decision.
I bet she's torn.
She is. She goes back and forth, wrestling with this desire to serve God, but also not wanting to leave her loved ones.
Yeah, you can't just abandon your family.
Right. And it's interesting because
What happens?
all this inner turmoil, this struggle,
Yeah.
it actually manifests physically.
What do you mean? Like she gets sick?
She gets really sick.
Oh, no.
And it's serious.
Oh, God.
Like she might die.
Wow.
But even then, even facing death,
Okay.
she refuses to be healed
What? Why?
unless she can stay home.
Oh, wow. So she's like holding on to her family. Yeah, like that's her priority even when she's so sick.
And then she has this conversation with a woman from her church,
Okay.
Sister Smith.
Sister Smith.
And Sister Smith helps Bessie see that maybe
What?
this illness is a sign from God,
Ooh, it's sad.
that he has other plans for her.
So like a wake-up call.
Yeah, and once Bessie accepts that maybe God is calling her to the Gospel Trumpet office,
Okay.
she's healed.
She's healed just like that.
Just like that.
Wow, it's like her faith played a role in her recovery.
And, makes you think about the power of letting go.
Yeah, surrendering to something bigger than yourself.
Right, and for Bessie, that faith is tested again when she asks her parents if she can go to the Gospel Trumpet office.
Oh, I bet they weren't thrilled about that.
Her father especially.
What did he say?
He basically told her if she leaves, she can never come back.
Wow, that's harsh.
It is, but you can understand his fear.
Yeah, I gets worried about her.
So Bessie has this choice to make.
A really tough choice.
Does she obey her father or follow her heart?
Oof, I wouldn't want to be in her shoes.
But on the morning of her departure,
What happens?
her father, he has a change of heart,
He does.
asks Bessie to forgive him,
Oh, that's sweet.
gives her his blessing.
Oh, wow. So they reconcile.
They do. And as she's leaving, her mother whispers these words of encouragement.
From the Bible, I bet.
She says, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability."
Powerful words.
And blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him.
So much wisdom packed into those verses.
And Bessie, she arrives at the gospel trumpet office, ready to go.
Wow. So she really takes that leap of faith.
She does.
Yeah.
And she finds out that she can preach through her work.
What do you mean?
Well, she's setting type for the publication.
Oh, okay. So she's helping spread the message.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And after a few months, she goes home for a visit. And both her parents have come to accept her calling.
Oh, that's great. They finally understand.
Yeah. And Byrum ends the book with this reflection. What Bessie became was principally in answer to her faithful mother's prayers.
So it all comes back to the power of a mother's prayer.
Exactly. What about you? What impossible things are you facing that might just need a little faith?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is. It's amazing how relevant this book still is.
Yeah, over 100 years later, and those themes of faith, family, following your dreams.
They still resonate.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the value of a praying mother.
It's been fascinating.
And who knows, maybe it's inspired you to take a leap of faith in your own life.
That's what we hope.
Until next time.